personally living always.
Welcome back to the arcade. Today we're going to start part number 10 of the Star Wars cabinet repair, and we are ready to stand the cabinet up and put the bottom set of wheels on it, or the back wheels on the back of the cabinet here. But what I'm going to try to do is try to stand this thing up without busting my rear end like I did back in, I don't remember if it was video number 2 or 3, when I laid this thing down. As you can see on the bottom of the cabinet, the Star Wars game has wheels built into the cabinet on the back side. And when I leaned this back, what happened, I'm getting ready to fall again here. When I leaned it back, the weight of it, because it still had the monitor in it, or the monitor tube, it was kind of top heavy. And the wheels started rolling on the carpet, and it was rolling away from me, and I just couldn't hold on to it, and I had to let go, and I fell backwards, and the cabinet fell down. It was on the Harbor Freight lift table, so it didn't go far, but it still got away from me, and you can watch that video and get a little chuckle out of it. The only problem with this is it's got those wheels on it, and I'm hoping that the wheels aren't going to take the cabinet off and run away from me. So anyway, let's give this a try. So this time, when I'm going to stand it back up, I'm going to do the same thing in reverse. I'm going to pick it up as high as I can get it with the Harbor Freight lift table. But this time, I'm not going to let these wheels get the better part of me. I put down 2 short cinder blocks. Now, cinder blocks are real rough, and they're heavy, and laying on that carpet, they're not going to slide anywhere. And when I tilt the cabinet down onto it, it's going to be the same thing. It's going to bite into that edge on the bottom of the cabinet, and hopefully it's not going to go anywhere. And the wheels will be on either side of the cinder blocks there. So we're going to give it a try and see what happens. So let me set it up, the camera, and see what happens. Okay, I've got everything lined up here. Cross my fingers and hope it works. Let me go ahead and jack the cabinet up. All right. Whew. Actually, that's up a right good ways. All right, let me see if I can tilt it down here. I think I'm gonna have to move my cinder blocks a little bit. Okay, let's go for it. Okay, so far so good. It's down on the cinder block and solid. Now, see if I can pick up the weight of this. Get this lift table out of the way. Okay, we got it. And it's up plenty high, so I ought to be able to get down there and put those wheels on. Okay, well, I got the two wheels here, and these wheels have the studs on them here are the same size as standard leg levelers, and it has a hex nut or kind of shoulder built into it, so you have to use a 9/16 wrench to tighten them up. Now, a regular 9/16 wrench is just too thick, so you need a skinny wrench. And if you don't have a skinny wrench, you do what I did. I just took a regular 9/16 boxed in wrench, open end on one end. The open end I took it to the grinder and I ground it down, so now it's got a skinny profile on it. So that's just something that you can do if you have like two nuts jammed against each other on a leg level or whatever. Also on pinball machines, usually you have a nut and a lock nut to jam them in between, so you can make you one of these wrenches real easy. Everybody has an extra 9/16 wrench or whatever in the toolbox, so just take an old discarded tool that's not part of a set and just grind it down. Okay, let's go ahead and put these wheels on so we'll be able to roll our cabinet around. All right. And it just is high enough to where I'm going to be able to get these started. Okay, now take the wrench and tighten them up. Okay, that one's done. Let's go over here and get the other one. And since I'm right-handed, I gotta get this kind of with my left hand. A little awkward. There we go. Got it started. And let's tighten it up. Okay, wheels are on. Okay, now all I got to do is get these cinder blocks out from under it. I should have enough room where I can, just roll it on the front wheels till I clear. Okay, there we go. Move these cinder blocks out the way. They worked out real nice. Okay. Now the game's on wheels, so I can roll it around any way I want to. Okay, let's go ahead and get the back door off. When I put this on, of course, I got a lock in the door here, but I went ahead and put 2 screws in it here just to hold the cabinets because it was kind of wobbly at the time. That's why we had to rebuild this cabinet. So now that we done put the new bottom on it and got that brace on the front, we can go ahead and take these screws out and open up the back door, which was kind of holding the cabinet square. Okay. And set that here. Okay, now we got a mess inside here. What I'm going to have to do now is get the vacuum cleaner out. I see a lot of spider webs, a lot of sawdust, and just debris from all the work. So I'm going to go ahead and get the vacuum cleaner out, clean the cabinet out, and then we'll be back. And well, actually, I got to gather all the parts together. It's been 6 months since I took everything out the cabinet. So what I'm going to have to do is try to organize everything in here, get this lift table out of here to make some more room, gather all the parts together, find all the screws, find out where everything goes, and then we'll come back and we'll start the assembly of the cabinet. I'll probably do that tomorrow. I'll clean up the odds and ends tonight and get it all ready, and then when we come back we'll start to reassemble everything in the cabinet. All right, well, the next thing we need to do is start putting everything back into the cabinet, and we're going to start with the on-off switch. Now, I took a few snapshots from a video when I took this apart, and let's see, here's a picture of it right here, and this is where the switch is of course covered by this box which goes right here, but we have to put the switch on first, and it's just a standard on-off switch with the cable hooked to it, but it doesn't really matter which way it goes, but I want to get it back on the same way. So if you look at the picture, you can see the wire is favoring the side of the cabinet here. So if you look at the switch, you can see that the wire is on this side, so I'm assuming that's where it goes. So we'll just go ahead and put it back in place. Get these screws started. Okay, switch is back in. Next I'll go ahead and put this cover back on. Okay, got it back in the same hole. These are Phillips screws. Okay, that's done. Next, I guess we'll go ahead and put the power brick back in. Oh, we're getting down here on the floor. It's hard on my knee. It still kind of hurts me a little bit. See if I can get in a little better position where I can stretch that leg out a little bit. It might not hurt as bad. Oh, it's hell to get old. Okay. Get this out of the way. And get this wire for the switch out of the way. Okay. Now we got a metal plate that goes in first. And I'd already marked out where I wanted it to go. It's not in the exact same place as the original. It's close, but the original they didn't line it up. They just set it in and put the screws in it, and it was a little cocked a little bit and a little to one side. So I just, when I made the new bottom, I went ahead and lined it up so it would be exactly straight in there. So okay, and this has 4 Phillips head screws. Now I'm wondering if I'm going to be able to screw these into that plywood or if I'm going to have to drill a pilot hole. That I don't know. Alright, I'm going to look at my picture again here, and the transformer end goes on this end right here. So go ahead and set this in. Alright, that one there's lined up pretty good. So let me see if I'm going to be able to put these screws in, or if I'm going to have to get a drill and drill a pilot hole. Don't know. No, they actually went in pretty good. Alright, that one's in, so let me just line up this one. And the others are lined up. Let me go ahead and put one in here. Boy, that one was a little tougher. It made it all the way down though. Okay, 2 more. All right. Now I can get this one in over here. Okay. All right, power brick is back in. Now, got the grounds here. Has a stud on the power brick here. Let me get a socket for that. And I got a ratchet here somewhere. Well, had a ratchet. You ever find it hard to hold on to your tools sometimes when you're working? What did I do with that thing? I know I had it. Okay, well. Put the wires on. And it's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ground wires that go on this stud. Get the nut on it. Okay, I'll tighten them down when I find my ratchet. Alright, next I'm going to go ahead and plug in all these plugs. And this one goes right here for the switch. Then I have these two right here. One I think is for the marquee, and the other one I'm not sure what that goes to, but they're both the same, no difference. So plug them into these two right here. Alright, we got the main plug right here. All those look good. And last, we have the AC power cord here, and that goes in to the side of the brick right down here on the corner. Only goes one way. Can't get it mixed up. Alright, now these wires have the little tie straps with the eyes on them, and they had screws that were actually screwing them down into the bottom. So let me get those screws. And we'll go ahead and put them in. And they're just regular Phillips head screws also. And wherever the wire sort of falls, that's where I'm going to put it. Okay. Now this one, got one here, and one here, and one up there. So I don't want any strain on this, so right about here's fine for this one. Okay, get in there. I wish these were square head like them other ones. I hate Phillips screws. They ought to shoot Mr. Phillips. Okay, that one's in. Looks like a good spot for that one. Okay, two more. One for this wire here, and one for that one up there. So let me put this one right here. Okay. Now, one more. Like I say, I hate Phillips screws. Tight. Okay, all of those are in. So now let me find out what I did with that cotton picking ratchet, and I'll tighten up that nut, and then we can move on. Yeah. Okay. Wouldn't you know it, I stuck it in my pocket, of all places. Okay, that's all done. Yep, got one more screw I didn't put in. I wonder where that is. Maybe it didn't have one, because I don't see one here. All right, let me find a screw to put in that, and then we'll be finished up with that. Okay, found that screw, so let's go ahead and put that in. Okay. Now the bottom is officially done. Well, it's time to put the front kick panel on. And I have to decide whether I'm going to glue it back. It's got 6 screws up each side, and I got 4 screws in the bottom where originally it had 3 screws in the bottom. But if I didn't put glue on it, if I wanted to, or somebody in the future wanted to replace that front kick panel and put a new graphic on it, it'd make it a lot easier for them. But it was originally had glue on it, so I think I'm gonna put glue back on it. It's just help the integrity of the cabinet. So anyway, first thing I'm going to do is take off this temporary board that I put on just to help hold it together while we had the front piece off while we were rebuilding and putting a new bottom on the cabinet. So I held on with 2 screws, one on each side. So let me go ahead and take those loose. And the one on this side. Okay. All right, now that's off. Now before I put glue on it, I'm going to put the kick panel on here and test fit it and make sure it's all the holes are going to line up. And let's see. Supposedly, if I remember when I fitted this on, this sits down flat on that bottom edge. So I set it up on a cinder block so that this will have something to rest on. So hopefully it'll just fit right in place. Just like that. And let's see if the screws will line up. I think that one lined up. See if the one on this side will line up. Yep, those lined up. Let me see if I can get one down lower to line up. And if I do, then we should be good to go. Yep, that lines up. Okay, I'll take these screws back out. Take this back off. And now, just going to put a little bit of glue on it. Give me a paper towel so I can wipe up any excess if I spill any. I'm using the same wood I've been using, same glue, I should say, Tight Bond 3. And I'm not going to put much on here. Just a slight little bead. And a little bead across the bottom. And if anybody ever has to get that loose, I think they'll be able to knock it loose fairly easy. Okay, line it back up. And let's go ahead and put the top screws in. Actually, I think this top one I'm going to have to make a new hole, because I think when I did that repair, I think I kind of filled that one in. To snug these first two up, I'm going to use a hand screwdriver. Alright, I'll put a couple in near the bottom. Not all the way at the bottom. Next one up from the bottom. Okay. Put the torque down a little low on this because I don't want to screw them in real tight yet. Okay. Just want to snug them up right now. Boy, it's kind of hard getting them in there. And I just want to snug them up. Okay. Now, I want to make sure they got a little bit of slack in them. So I want to make sure I get the cabinet sides pulled together. So I'm just going to put a clamp on here, one up here near the top, and one down here. Just to make sure the sides are pulled in. Okay, that'll make a good solid joint along here. Okay, I think I might set the camera up on the back side, and I'm gonna go in from the front side and start putting these screws in. All right, put the rest of these screws in. Let me get the ones started up here that I can get started. And then I'll have to come down through the coin door to get the other started. And I'm putting these back in with pocket screws. And the pocket screws are real close to coming through, but they don't quite come through. But I went ahead and put a flat washer on them just to hold them off a little bit. Let's see if I can get some of these started here. I had a long extension on this, but I'm not sure what I did with it. These Robinson screws are nice, but if you can't get them straight, it makes it just as bad, as almost as bad as a Phillips. See, I can't get it straight there, so I'm gonna have to use a ratchet. And on this side, because I got this card cage in here, I have to kind of use the ratchet anyway. Okay. Got some more to put in. Alright, now I got the very bottom ones to get in. See if I can't get down here to do that. And these are going to be a pain. So I'm just going to have to feel them. Okay, that was the only one there. Okay, that should be all of them on that side. All right, let me see if I can get the other side now. Okay, one there, one there, one there. One goes right here. Lost my ratchet again. Had it inside here. Okay, now I got the 4 in the bottom, and these don't have a pilot hole in them, so they're going to be a little harder to go in. I think that's one of them. Actually, I'm going to see if I can use this on them. If I can get in here where I can see. Okay, this ain't cooperating. All right, it's one end. It's under other cinder block in the way here. Okay, 2 in, 2 to go. Turn around and get back the other direction. Maybe it'd be better if I came in from the backside. I don't know. This is a royal pain. Okay, one more. Find the hole here. Okay. Phew. Well, that was fun. But we are done. Okay. One more thing to do here. We got the wiring harness for the control panel. Gets 2 screws. They're Phillips screws. Gets one right here. And the other one well, actually, yeah, I got it this way. This one goes right there. Find my Phillips screwdriver. Okay, that's finished. Alright, I'm going to stop right here because now I'm going to have to get out the coin door, clean it up, get out the control panel, clean it up, find the screws for it, and we'll let this glue dry overnight, and then hopefully tomorrow we can finish this up. So we'll be right back. It's been about 3 days now since we glued the front kick panel on, so it's good and dry now. Just didn't have time to get back out here to it till now, so I'll go ahead and take these 2 clamps off and take the cinder block out from under it and set it back down flat on the wheels. And then we'll get out the coin door and install it. Well, I got the coin door out. And the coin vault and the coin bucket, and I've cleaned them all up. There's a little bit of rust on top of the vault here, but it's not bad. It's still original, so I'm going to leave it that way. The coin door is in pretty good shape. It's a standard coin code door that you find on many of the, almost all of the older Atari games. This one is got a date code on it of August of '83. So that's when the coin door was manufactured, so it was probably installed in the game shortly after that. Anyway, it's a typical over-under door, and it has a total of 8 of these sort of clips here. Spacers, washers, whatever you want to call them. They got slots in them, so you don't have to take the screws all the way out. You can loosen them up, slide them in. The door can fit in the slot, and once you get it in the slot, you just push them over and tighten up the screw, and that holds the coin door in the front kick panel. The only thing that holds the coin vault onto the coin door is right on the top edge right here. It has this little lip, and that little lip hangs over the lip right here on the center of the coin door, and it just hangs there. Nothing, there's no bolts or anything involved in it. It just hangs right there. I guess to weight of it. And then once you put all the weight from the quarters is in there, you're not going to really worry about it going anywhere. So anyway, let's go ahead and mount it back on the front of the game. Okay, well, I got a couple of these retainers here loose, so I'm just going to go ahead and set this in here. And that one needs to be loosened up more, because the coin mech won't clear it. Alright, try this again. Okay, now we can get it to clear. Loosen up the top two so I can get those started. Okay, just gonna snug these up. They don't have to be crazy tight. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and set the camera up in the back so you can see me finish installing the rest of them. Alright, I'll loosen up the rest of these. Alright, now just tighten them up. Okay. Now all I have to do is get the coin vault and put that in there. I don't know if that'll fit through the hole where the control panel is or not. Might have to put it in through the back. But yeah, it's not going to fit in through here, so I have to put it in through here and then come in from the front and pick it up, and it hangs on this top lip right here. Okay, that's all for that. Now, this is the panel for the test switch, the volume control, and the credit button. So one of these plugs into it, and they're color coded. This has a red sticker, that has a red sticker. But no, that's not it. They're different. The green one goes to the red. Huh. So much for color coding. Okay. See if I can get this right. Goes this way here. No, that one don't go there. Well, that can't go there. All right, I'm gonna have to figure this out. One of these goes to the control panel, and one of them has to go to that, but they're different. Is there another one down there I'm missing? Let me take a look and see. Yep, here it is right here. I bet this is the one for the control panel. I mean, not the control panel, the service panel. Okay. That looks more like it. Okay, that plugs up. So evidently, hadn't looked at the control panel that close. Evidently the control panel, both of these go to it. Okay. Well, no they don't. Control panel's only got one. So why do I have an extra one? Interesting. Like I say, it's been a while since I pulled this apart, so I'm gonna have to do a... Okay, I got it. One of them is the coin door. Duh! And that's a screw, that's where that screw hole goes, right there. Okay, these are two separate plugs, so they'll only go one way. And this one is for the control panel. I'm gonna have to find me a screw to screw that in right there. So let me find a screw and we'll get the control panel and we'll put the control panel on. Well, we're getting close. All we got to do now is put the control panel back on. So let me put the coin bucket back in. Okay, now control panel is held on with three bolts. They're carriage bolts, and they have a lock washer, a nut, and a big washer behind it. So let's go ahead and figure out how this goes on. Now, if I remember correctly, this hinge goes against the wood. So go on like this. You get the washers and nuts. We'll put the center one on first, just to give it something to hold it in place. Okay, I don't want to put too much weight on that because it might break that wood. I've seen them where the wood, this front panel, is in such bad shape that it will break if you put all this weight on it. So I'm going to hold the weight off of it. Because I don't want to break that front panel now that I got it glued on. That would be a mess. Let me just confirm it. That's the way it goes. Yeah, that's it. Okay, I get my socket out. And let's tighten it up. You don't have to tighten it super tight. Ain't going nowhere, just snug them up. Okay. Now I just have to plug the plug in. Make sure we get it the right way. And why won't the plug go in? That's the right way. There it goes. All right. Now, the panel is held down, these two studs right here. When you put it down, it goes through these holes, and you have big fender washers, a lock washer, and wing nuts that go on it to hold it on. But I'm not going to put those on right now. But we're going to go ahead and fire the game up and see what happens. Well, everything is back together and we're ready to fire it up. Now, one thing that I'm going to let you know right now is the game has a problem. I suspect it's a problem with the game board. This game board, about 3 years ago, I repaired this one and also repaired my spare board Well, it might be a little more than 3 years ago now, come to think of it. Time sure does fly. But anyway, I had both the boards repaired and both of them were working, and they worked for a while. And then I had a problem with the board in this, which had the Vector Labs Star Wars Empire Strikes Back multi-kit installed on it, which is what this has. The other board doesn't have the multi-game kit. It's just the stock Atari Star Wars game. And I believe what I did, instead of fixing it the last time, I believe I robbed one of the boards off of the spare board set and put it on this board. Sort of took two to make one that was working, rather than try to figure out what was wrong with that particular one at the time, because I wanted the game back up and running kind of quick. So it ran good for a while. Then it developed a problem. The problem started with the controls. Of course, you have your right and left, and then you have your up and down. Well, let me see if I can get this right. The up and down was working great, but when you first turned the game on and it was cold, the right and left, while it worked, was slow to respond. In other words, it was like it was delayed. Like when you turn it all the way to the right, it should go all the way to the right away. But instead it was like turn it to the right and then it would real slow. The up and down was fine, but the right and left was real slow. So that could be a problem with the DAC. I believe the input to the yoke here has a analog to digital converter. So it might be something wrong with that chip. Okay, it started out that way. After the game warmed up, it would start working. And for the most part, the game worked fine. But when you switched it to the Empire Strikes Back, then the game just started acting weird. The graphics were all messed up. It started jumping like frame jump. And it was almost like the AVG chip was bad. But this board and my other board both have replacement AVG chips from arcade shops. And I've switched both of those, and I don't think they both could be bad. They're fairly new. When I redid the boards, I guess it's probably been 4 or 5 years ago now. They were new back then, so I guess they could go bad, and that could be a problem. But anyway, let's go ahead and fire it up and see what happens. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to get the cabinet squared away and get wheels on it, is so I could easily move it around to try to troubleshoot the boards. I haven't decided if I'm going to try to troubleshoot them myself and repair them, which I could probably do, but I'm real slow at it because I'm not a professional and I don't have a lot of the proper equipment to do it. All I have is I do have a scope, which I barely know how to use, but I also have a logic probe, which I used last time, which worked pretty good. But anyway, as you can see, the game is up, and it looks fine. So let's go ahead. Another thing I noticed too, after it warmed up, it seemed like the convergence would drift off, like the stars would be separated. You wouldn't have white stars. So I don't know if it has a monitor problem also. So anyway, let's coin up the game and see what it's doing.
Red 5 standing by.
Okay, see how the right and the left is slow, and it's not going all the way over. The up and down is working fine. So yeah, it still has that problem. that bad, that can be replaced, no problem. But yeah, the right and left is hosed right now.
Good call, I'm going in. Use the false move.
Very difficult because you have to start your turn way before you get there. Like I say, up and down works fine. Now after a while, it'll start working.
Yahoo! You're all clear, kid!
Okay, now it's catching up. It seems to
Hit the
be
top bat. Oh, see what you can do with it.
working a lot better now.
Good call, I'm going in.
Yeah, see, it's a lot quicker response now. Okay, well, I'm just going to get blown up here and end the game.
R223 power. I'm on R2.
Okay. So now it seems to be working pretty good on Star Wars. Let's try The Empire Strikes Back. Okay, here's The Empire Strikes Back. So let's corn up the game.
He could destroy us. May the force be with you.
Alright, so far so good.
There's a meteorite hit the ground near here.
Okay, see it black out? Blacked out again.
With you.
It's like it's skipping frames.
I'm sure Skywalker is with me.
We have spotted Imperial walkers.
There it goes again.
Go for the lake. Watch our only chance of stopping them. Shield doors possibly closed. I have five possibilities of considerable danger. Prepare to leave the Delta Light. I want to grab the ship.
The Force is with you.
Okay,
I make this way down.
let's go ahead and put the game in test mode and see if the test mode reveals anything. Alright, that's The Empire Strikes Back. I'm not sure if the test mode works right in that or not. Let let me go ahead and cut it off and reset it. And put it in regular Star Wars test mode. Now with the ESB kit, in test mode, it usually comes up with I think it's a ROM error, but that's supposed to be normal. Press OK. Press auxiliary coin to continue. Okay, we just go through this. All right, I guess it's running the ROM test maybe. Okay, hardware errors. Program ROM 3 at 1KL. And I believe that's the way it's supposed to be when you have the Vector Labs multi-game installed. Okay, so that seems to be working there. No divider errors, no math box errors. That looks pretty good. That looks okay. Might be a little small. That looks good. That looks good. Scale test linear. Linear and binary. Is it supposed to pause when it's doing that? I don't remember. Looks like it's awful slow. I'll have to look at some of my old videos for that. All right, scale test linear. That's pretty fast and okay. See where it stops. I don't know if that's normal. All right, let me go past this. That looks fairly well. And back to this. So, it's not really coming up with any errors to speak of. All right, let me flip it back. Another quirk with the Vector Labs multi-game is when you flip it out of test mode, you have to cut the game off and turn it back on or it won't boot up. Okay. So now what I'm going to try is put it in Empire Strikes Back. And see if I can get it to go in test mode. Because this is...
He could destroy us.
Alright. Okay, let's see what it comes up with. And it doesn't seem to be coming up in the test. I don't remember if this is normal or not. Not sure if I ever put it in test mode with the Vector Labs multi-kit. So I don't know if this is proper behavior for it or not. I'm saying not, but I have to do a little research on that. Anyway, if anybody knows, let me know in the comments. And if you've seen this problem before, let me know what you think it might be. Anyway, this video is just about the cabinet repair, so I'm not going to go into it right now. So let me go ahead and give you a walk around of the final product of the cabinet and show you what that looks like, and I'll worry about the game board at another time. Well, here's a final look at the cabinet. Marquee is lit. The game is partially working. It does have an Amplifone monitor in it. It's been completely rebuilt, and that seems to be working great. About 4 years ago, I rebuilt the controller with all new parts, repainted the handles, new decal, new control panel overlay decal, because the original one, somebody had ripped half of it off along the front here. I generally try to keep the games as original as possible, but sometimes you just have to make a few changes. As you know, both of these corners down here, we repaired those. They were blown out. That painting, that strip on the bottom of the kick panel, that looks good. New T-molding. And let's see, if you remember, the bottom of this cabinet right there had that big chunk out of it. We repaired that with Bondo and repainted all that. And of course, the original side art has its problems here where somebody had gouged it out, but all in all, it's not too bad. I can live with it. And back on this side here, of course, the new T-molding, and painted up, fixed the corners on the front and back. So yeah, not looking too bad. It'll do. And of course, I didn't do anything to the back door here. It's always had this chunk missing out of it. I seen somebody had one the other day. Can't remember where I seen it. I think it was for sale. And anyway, the same corner was cut off almost the same way. So I don't know what it is about that corner. But anyway, it's the original back door. It all lines up nice and looking pretty good, so I'm pretty satisfied with it. Well, this ends the video series of the Star Wars cabinet repair. I got a good solid cabinet now. Now all I got to do is figure out what's wrong with the board set, and Star Wars will be ready to go back in the lineup and hopefully get a few more years of enjoyment out of it before something else happens. And with that, what can I say? It's Star Wars. It's not Star Trek, but it's Star Wars. So anyway, if you like this video series, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, tell a friend, somebody who loves Star Wars arcade games. Maybe they just picked one up and they need some repair tips. Send them a link to it, and look forward to some more videos. I got some more stuff planned. I don't know exactly what direction I'm going to go in now, but might. I have a couple Laserdisc games, and I've been wanting to get those up and running again. So next video might have something to do with a Laserdisc game. So stay tuned, and hope you enjoyed the series, and hopefully we'll be back soon.
First of the video, always.